get it together, get it flyable, and they'll take ferry flight it to, I don't know where that outfit is, Colorado, I think. Basically, the engines have to come off, engine mounts, horizontal stabilizer, a whole bunch of the wing has to get opened up, a whole bunch of the interior has to come out for all these eddy current inspections and ultrasound inspections and magnetic particle inspections. And it's like we don't have the time or the manpower or anything to do all that shit.
So they're sending it somewhere where...
We're going to do what we set out to do to begin with, finish that up, and then from there they'll take it somewhere else to do all the heavy duty stuff.
And when you said ferry, what, it just going to like be
that
a tech?
means the airplane isn't really legal to fly, but the FAA issues a one-time ferry permit, so you're ferrying the airplane from here to there for maintenance or whatever reason. That's how it came in here, because it was out of being legal for all the inspections that it was due.
Who's the lucky pilot?
I forget the guy's name. And then on the way here, he had to shut one engine down, but only because he wasn't that familiar with the airplane. Turns out he didn't have to shut the engine down. He just had to set the electronic engine control, the EEC, to manual, and he just could have kept flying it. The computer that controls the engine was seeing stuff, and because it was seeing stuff, it started doing something really bad, and they just shut the engine off. Rather than, he could have just shut the computer off and kept flying it manually. Apparently he wasn't aware of that. But we corrected its problem. Why the torque transmitter from the engine was telling the computer, oh, torque's up, torque's down, torque's up, and the computer's like, and so it started doing really weird shit. And had he let it go doing that, it would have burned the engine up. So
Oh, wow.
overheated the engine. It was good he shut it off. Had he just gone click, he wouldn't have had to declare an emergency. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But either way. So from here, hopefully it goes away really soon and I never see it again. It's for sale. And as it is right now, you could sell it as is, but you wouldn't get anything for it.
Not
All
a million.
these inspections need to be done to make it airworthy again. You need to get whatever money you can get out of it.
It's probably some Saudi prince that said, I'll give you $1 million for it.
Well, he had an offer for $1 million about a year ago, and he didn't take it, and I'm sure he's kicking himself in the ass now, because he won't get anywhere near that. If he gets $500,000 for it, I'll be surprised.
And what year was it built?
Huh?
What year was it built?
It's pretty old, early aughts, I would guess.
Because I look at it and it looks new, but it's just because it's maintained. I mean,
More
the
than
exterior.
20 years old, put it
Wow.
that way.
Wonder how many mile flying.
It's got 11,260 some hours, because I've had to deal with that number so many times lately. So do 11,200 divided by 24, and I tell you how many days it's been in the air. They do everything by hours, flight time.
Yeah. Well, that 11,000 something sounds like a lot of
Calculator.
time.
1126 divided by 24. 469.16 days in the air.
So, like a year, over a year up there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. That can't be right. 11,000 hours divided by 24 would be days. So, yeah. My airplane's got 8,000 hours, 8,000 some hours.
You mean total? Its
Total.
life?
Yeah,
How many do you think you have flown of that?
300.
Oh.
So I got like 360 hours, which isn't very good. About 8,000 divided by 24. 333. That can't be right.
That doesn't make sense. Well, maybe. Yeah.
divided by 24.
Coming up on a year, up in the air.
Yeah, there's no way.
Well, 11,000 compared to 8,000. It's only 3,000 more, which
333 days.
that's a lot. That's
Crazy. What's up, right? Simple math, right? Anyway,
okay.
this is my nightmare.
Well, I'm glad that it's sort of resolved, and you just have to.
I gotta reseal this. I gotta fix that. I think I can fix that without changing the skin. I gotta change this skin because of this and this. And there's a kink or a crack in it somewhere.
So this just happens from regular flying.
This happened from being not having the gust lock on it, and the rudder got either wind or jet blasted, and it was going wham, 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 and
Whoa.
band it all up. There's a great big huge counterweight here, so that it's sort of kind of balanced on the hinge points. But when the wind starts slamming it back and forth, that big weight out here, they're strong, but they're not that strong.
Well, all things considered, then that's a pretty small
And
amount of damage. Well,
if I have to change that skin, it will only be this side. This one is from here, all the way to the other side, one skin. There to there.
you're talking about that piece of metal.
Yeah.
And how? What
Skin.
gauge is this?
This is probably, I don't know, 25, 32 thousandths.
So it's
The rudder skins on my airplane are 16 thousandths, which is slightly thicker than a beer can.
amazing. That is.
But we'll buy
That's
the
crazy.
skin. If I have to do this one, I'll probably make it. That aluminum sheets over there that you make stuff out of. So.
And do you use a brake or whatever you call those things?
Break and shear.
Wow.
But there's no way. I mean, if I had the right tool, I could make this, but we don't have the equipment to make this skin, so I'll probably just buy it. But I could make that one. That would be easy.
And you don't. This isn't something that you would weld. It's just all
It's
riveted.
Yeah.
Does it have to be like sealed in there with some
Nope.
caulk or something? I don't know what you'd seal it with.
This is pressurized, this airplane. So the pressure vessel is all sealed, but where it's not a pressure vessel, it's just
Yeah.
metal riveted together.
Interesting. Really didn't know that. You got work to do.
Yeah, I got it.
I better get out of your hair.
Or at least act like I'm busy. Gas stations from here to there,